Okay, hello everyone. I'm Darren with M3, and today I have a very, very special guest, Ryan Cleef from Rootstock. And today's topic is Your Digital Story Isn't Connecting Online. And Ryan and I have amazing framework to fix it. So before we get started, Ryan, thank you for being here.
Oh, Darren, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited about this. You and I always have such great conversations, and I'm excited to unleash that upon LinkedIn land.
Yes, yes, yes. So before we get started, I have to give you a proper intro, of course. You
Please.
are the co-founder of Rootstock, which is a thought leadership and brand growth agency. You're here in Atlanta. And before I do my spiel about how I know and how you all help me, tell the audience about, yourself, Rootstock, and all of the amazing things that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So, Rootstock is a thought leadership development and consulting firm, as you mentioned. We like to work with ambitious, visionary leaders to grow their businesses through curiosity driven discovery and relationship centered strategy, teaching them to build sustainable influence by creating genuine connections, fostering authentic communities, and crafting compelling thought leadership content that builds trust and drives impact. I have a PR, marketing, comms, advertising background. I've spent time at a couple of really cool agencies around Atlanta, plus a short stint in the corporate world where I did sales and discovered I don't like transactional linear sales, even though the money can be good.
Mhm.
I'm a relationship guy. I'm a community builder. I'm a connector. So I started, my first company was called Rhino Media, kind of a general, hey, pay me to do some comms, PR work for you kind of thing. And that morphed into Rootstock. And we started focusing went from strategic comms to leaning into thought leadership. And what that means to us, we created our own definition of thought leadership. And it's really about elevating your field. It's you have this best thinking inside of your head that wants to challenge the status quo of your industry. You think there's a better way to do something, and you want to share that with people because you believe that by sharing that, you're going to elevate your field and you're going to grow your business because people are going to see the way you think and they're going to go, oh, I like what Darren's saying about this particular system I'm having an issue with, or I need this one thing. And I like the way that he's approaching it based on this blog or this LinkedIn post that I saw or this event that I attended. Let me talk to Darren. I think him and My Mogul Media could help me because I like their philosophy. It's not just, we know you're good at what you do. If you're a digital marketer, you're a consultant, you're a nonprofit leader. Like, yes, you're super smart and talented. You're great at your job. But why are you going to elevate? Why and how are you going to elevate your field? And that's where we come in. And we'll talk here in a bit about how we do that. But we help people just kind of get what's up here, like all their thoughts and thinking, and help them get it out, identify the key points or their truths, articulate those, build that foundation, that strategy of what your ecosystem might need to look like, and then build that ecosystem from all the content you might want to starting events like you've done and we've done together to speaking at events to getting on podcasts. Maybe you want to write a book one day. Maybe you just need help getting your LinkedIn up and going. There's like some key foundational things you want to do in that ecosystem. Then you kind of pick and choose, like, hey, what else do you want to add in? Like, what suits you? What suits your goals? Where are you going to find those ideal customers you're looking for and things like that? So that's what we like to do. We have a great team. There's about 7 of us. We are writers, we're strategists, we're creatives, we're thinkers, and above all else, we're all just good people. My team is full of good humans. I like to surround myself with people like you that are just kind, good, smart people. As you know, my tagline, I won't say the full tagline, but my motto for the year is do cool stuff with cool people. And I believe that. I believe we're all stronger together. And if you build the right communities, which we'll dive into in a bit, all around you, it can impact you in so many ways, from just general support to business growth, to partnerships, to collaboration, to so many things.
Yes, yes, yes. And everything. So everybody who's listening, I have my notes and I have my questions, but I have to add some color on how you fit into this M3 ecosystem. So I may go off the rails just a little bit.
I expect nothing less from us, Darren.
So those who are listening, Ron and I, we talk all the time. We have a really good relationship, but I'll take you from the beginning. Believe it or not, and people do not believe this about me, but I am actually an introvert. It takes a lot to put myself out there, but okay, it's growing pains. But Ryan and I believe we connected. I think sometime last year at a networking event.
At an Impact Up event, yeah.
At an Impact Up event. Great energy, and we found time to connect. We met at a place here in Roswell.
We met at Gate City. Yeah, I remember.
Yes. But the part, and I want to add color to people who are listening so people can know exactly who you are and what Rootstock does, an amazing team. So you and I, we met up, and how I am, my brain is like, I'm truly a systems thinker, a systems architect. Like my brain, how I function. In my office, I have this huge whiteboard and I had this entire plan that how I was going to get out of my head and do these in-person events. So I'm like, okay, how do I make this happen? So I had this whole elaborate plan. And when you and I met up, I showed you. And the funny thing about it, just like Erykah Badu says, sometimes I feel like I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my stuff in terms of my vision. I don't share my vision and what I want to do with everybody, but I felt immediately your energy, and I knew you was a safe space for me to share.
Thank you.
But the part that stood out, Ryan, was you and I think we had beers. It was just like a casual conversation. And I told you where I wanted to go in terms of from here, Atlanta. I think we were going to do Charlotte and yada, yada, yada. And you was just like, okay, I'm going to take and just send you something. But it was the level of clarity and detail that just blew me away. It was just like, oh, wow. It's one thing to have someone who listens to you, but it was someone to understand. And it was just like, wow, of course, I'm a man of faith. And I was just like, wow, God is sending me my people, because it was at a time really where I was rebuilding a lot of things. I had to do a lot of pivoting. And it was just like, okay, I'm at how do I get to the next stage? But how do I bring on people who I can trust, people who share the same sentiments and the same values as I live by, because I stand in my integrity. Even if it's difficult, I'm not going to waver from what I believe in. So just your team, you, Tara, Gwendolyn, just the entire team is just top notch. You all get me. And we'll talk about like the kernel of truth and everything. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. No, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that. I think I'm, just want to hire you to do all my introductions. If that's okay.
No, I mean that, but now we've already done 2 Connect ATLs. We're doing Connect Dallas in March, which is so amazing. And Ryan, for those who are listening, you guys are our producers, so you all help find the talent, the amazing speakers. So as we expand to different cities, put on our events, it's the same level of excellence across the board, because I know I'm going to have amazing speakers. Everything is going to be done right. So the system, Rootstock, is baked into our systems, which I love, and I'm so grateful. But
well, you are the architect of those empathetic systems, and so I'm happy to be part of that world.
I appreciate that. So just get into it really quick, Ryan, because I know we can do this forever. So many people are having a hard time really connecting with just their audience online, or if they want to position themselves, like you were saying, if you're in marketing, I meet so many people who are brilliant, who are absolutely brilliant, but it's like this wall. It's a wall of noise. So how do someone who's feeling discouraged, who's feeling like, I don't even have the time, but I have to do this, it's not something I enjoy, but like, what's the first step?
Yeah, no, we see that so often, Darren. And it's a great question. And we see it with, like you said, really smart people that are doing great things. They're doing fine doing some of those marketing things on their own that really aren't in their wheelhouse. It's like, I know I have to do it, so I'm going to do it. They're not enjoying it. It feels forced. Staring at a blank page or a blank screen is super stressful, because you don't really have a place of kind of this foundation of where you're coming from.
Yes.
So we created this offering called the Kernel of Truth, and you've done it, you've experienced it, and we'll talk about that in a second. What the Kernel of Truth is, first of all, it's a 2-hour workshop that helps leaders identify and articulate the core truth, like the cornerstone of their story. not their thought leadership position. We have a separate workshop for that. That's a little more involved. We know you're smart in your industry. We know you're good at your job. It's not about that. It's about you, the person, why you're doing what you're doing, why it matters, what does it mean to you, and all these things. And so what we do, it's a 2-hour workshop. And you mentioned listening. Gwendolyn Kuhlman, our creative strategist at Rootstock, she leads our Kernel of Truth workshops. And it is maybe 80% of her listening to you, reflecting back what she hears, and then pulling on certain threads. After that conversation, Gwendolyn and our team, including Tara McVoy, our editor-in-chief, who's an 8-time published author and is an incredible writer, editor, storyteller, those two superstars work together to craft your kernel of truth. And then when we present this to you, the leader we're working with, we unpack 4 key questions. Who you are, what are you making or what are you doing? Why does it matter? And what does it mean to you? And these super seemingly simple questions become such powerful drivers of everything you'll do after this around messaging, growth, PR, events, social, website, biz dev, all that stuff. Because what it does, and you mentioned this earlier, to bring back to that leader that just feels stuck, is it gets you unstuck.
Yeah.
It brings so much clarity to why you're doing what you're doing. Almost a reminder of why you maybe started your nonprofit, why you started your consulting firm, why you started your B2B firm, you know, because you know how it is, man. Like you get in the work and some days you're just getting the work done, you know, and all that stuff that seems like extra stuff that, you know, is not extra, you know, in terms of business development, crafting all the right messaging and copy for all the places you need to have stuff, videos, all this stuff. You have to do that stuff.
You have to do it.
You have to, like, there's no choice. And so if you're every day, if you sit down to record something, write something, whatever, and you're just kind of like, oh, what do I do today? I don't even know where to start. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And that leads to you not doing it.
Yeah.
It leads to a product you're maybe less than happy with because it doesn't really feel like you.
Right.
So the kernel of truth, we present it to you. We unpack those 4 questions for you. It's a very beautiful PDF document. And those are super powerful things. And again, I've done mine as well. And whew,
yeah.
it was a big part of my year this year. And we'll share stories in a minute. And then at the end of it, we also give you a few prompts to think about as you're building your brand. So Gwendolyn will hear these things. Again, she's a great listener and she's a fantastic listener and then distiller of everything you say.
And so Gwendolyn is on too. She's on.
Oh, Gwendolyn, hi.
Yeah.
And we all saw her last night at our last marketing mixer of the year, which we'll talk about that in terms of community as well. But we give you a few prompts to think about as you're creating stuff for yourself and your business.
Yes.
And it could be, hey, you mentioned these things. Give some specific examples of how you did this and how it impacted this. Or you mentioned this other thing. Let's talk about why this was good for this one client or why. And so it just gives you like the high level stuff, but then we get a little tactical in the document. Yeah. And then it finishes with what we call a "This is me" post.
Yeah.
And it's basically a very long, like LinkedIn post written from your point of view. It's kind of like your mini brand story in a way. And so once we present this, I mean, Darren, you've seen it. We've had people in tears. We've had people that are over the moon that, you know, say things like, I effing love it.
Yeah.
We have people that say, I've been trying to put this into words for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and y'all just did it for me. Like, yes. Thank you so much. And so now we've just armed that person to go back to their organization, nonprofit, for-profit, doesn't matter. They have something to build with every time they go to create something. So if you're trying to create a new talk track to go speak on some stages, well, you just got a ton of stuff that you can pull on.
I agree.
And what's really cool about, there's so many things that are cool about it. There's all that stuff. So it brings clarity, gets you unstuck. Now you can move forward with confidence. It impacts everything, like I said, from business development conversations, proposals, to your LinkedIn copy, your website copy, case studies, etc.
Yeah.
But what it also does is it kind of naturally helps you understand a little bit better, even if you've done strategy around, hey, who are our target audiences? Who's the key prospects we want to go after and work with? Who are the kinds of partners we want to collaborate with, etc. It helps you even narrow in on that, because all of a sudden you're seeing in a very professionally distilled, succinct manner, like, here's who I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why it matters. And if the people that I want to work with, if they don't vibe with that, well, then we probably shouldn't work together.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if I can just
Yeah.
jump in for a second, when you guys first presented the kernel of truth to me, if I'm being honest, I was a little hesitant. It was nothing that you all did, but I said, I know you all do amazing work, but I felt like, how could someone else tell my story better than me? I know my story.
Yep.
So I was just like, okay, I understood the investment, but when I did it, and Gwendolyn's on, she's gonna laugh at it. I had two of my team members on there, and she said, Darren, normally it's kind of intimate. Some people cry, and I'm like, okay, they can drop off the call, but like, I'm not gonna cry. I've been through a Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after like 10 minutes, I was like, are these tears falling? And she was just like, because you didn't know who I was. I was just like, that's right. I didn't know who she was. But what I'm saying, the quality, and it was the kernel of truth. It's a listening exercise. In Gwendolyn, it's life changing. It's so good. It's such an investment.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me so much clarity. It taught me so much clarity in terms of that, and just going to therapy in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think I hope this is going to help a lot of people. I come from, just like you, and going to laugh, I come just like you and a lot of people from corporate, in terms of everything I thought had to be super polished, super buttoned up, super big agency, everything. But what I didn't realize, Ryan, was I was losing my special sauce that was making me unique when I watered myself down. Corporate teaches you how to almost sanitize yourself and water yourself down. And it was defeating the obvious, like particularly you and I and those people who work with purpose-driven organizations. Showing up as your authentic self is more than enough, because I had to realize, if I'm talking to 100,000 people and I say, whatever it is, I'm from New Orleans, I like to go swimming, I like this type of music, I'm whatever it is, by default, some people will say, you know what? This is not my lane, but so many people will say this is my lane. That's like anything in life. And I think we do ourselves such a disservice by trying to be everything to everybody. I'm not Walmart. You're not Walmart. When you're catering to everybody,
I love that. Yeah.
You can't be anything to anybody.
No.
And so the kernel of truth really helped me realize, like, these are my values. This is my, I'm not going to say my safe space, but this is my wheelhouse. This is my zone. And these are the people who I'm magnetic to. I want to focus on the people who need. I'm not going to focus on the people who are committed to misunderstanding the message I'm trying to deliver. And same to you. So it was money well spent. And it's second nature. I don't even think about it. But the kernel of truth was the foundation, part of the foundation that I can build this skyscraper on. So if I'm doing an event in Dallas, or if we're doing one in LA or one in London, it's going to always follow our truth, our fiber, our fiber. So anybody who's listening, I would strongly consider, just like I have a good friend who is in sales, and just like you two, I'm not one of those salesy type people. I think it's just kind of like, gives you the ick. But I think you would do yourself a disservice by not at least seeing what's available in terms of the options. There's a better option to really get your message out. Because I have to be honest, and Ryan, I want you to give me your take on it. Unless you have $1 billion and plus of budget, the only way you're going to be able to compete in this digital ecosystem environment is unless you be your authentic self. That's the only way. You're going to have to cut through the noise, and speak directly for what you stand for. People can
Mhm.
tell, even when we're scrolling on social media, you can instantly tell if something is AI written or if it's a regular
Yeah.
human. It does not have to be overly polished.
Mm-mm.
Just be your real self. We're all going through things. We're all facing, it's life.
It's life, man. God, I just loved everything you just said, Darren. And you're right. I've never been a corporate guy. Both the agencies I was at were, 10 to 15 people. The quick stop I had in the corporate world was a remote job before COVID. So I was working from home in like the mid-teens. Even that was enough corporate stuff for me because, like you said, it wasn't about me. It had nothing to do. It was just about, I was just another number. Hey, what's your latest quota? What's your latest contract? Like all these things. And it just isn't. And I wasn't able to be myself, to your point. And this day and age with AI, just a saturation of content everywhere you look, people trying to be things they're not. That authenticity is going to be such a differentiator and a game changer for the people that understand, like, hey, we're in this for the long term. So whether you're running a nonprofit, starting a nonprofit, running a for-profit business, a B2B, whatever, assuming you want this to be around for a while and you want to be doing that for a long time, think that way from the beginning so that you're in the mindset of, okay, I need to do the right things now along the way. And it might take a little bit of time to get there, especially if you don't have $1 billion to run on paid ads or all those things, if you have a big staff. But there's things you can do if you have, and that's one thing I like helping people do, is this mindset shift from the very beginning.
Yes.
It's let's lean into community. Let's lean into finding the right connections. Let's lean into finding the right relationships, lean into crafting the right content. And then once you have that foundational, like that kernel of truth in place, you have your strategy in place, then you start rolling things out there. Yeah. And if you do it consistently, you will meet more of the right people. You will expand your network with more of the right people. You'll get more of the right people in the funnel. And then you can use all of those tools in your ecosystem to move the people down the funnel and eventually get them to sign some kind of contract with you for some kind of project they need help with. Because one thing we never come to and say to people is, you absolutely need this and this and this. We rarely have a templated approach to anything. It's we listen. It's like, okay, here's what we're hearing. This is how we think we should start. Now, if you come to us and you're like, hey, we need an email newsletter. We don't have one. We want to drum one up. Absolutely. And we're doing that right now with 2 different clients. And that starts their ecosystem. Now we get them going. Then we build from there. That's okay. We don't mind starting. But to your point, though, because like you, I will go off on tangents.
That's okay.
That authenticity it's just so important these days because that'll help you stand out. And again, like you said about the polishedness, I think that's one thing that stops people. Another thing that stops people from embarking on maybe starting an event or crafting more content is it's not polished enough. It's not professional enough. And so what I tell people is, and I have to tell myself this sometimes too, is just do it. Just take that first step. And if that kernel of truth helps you take that first step, even better. Because now you're coming from that place of like a core truth. So now you actually probably want to create content more than you did before because now you're excited about it. Now you're like, hey, this is who I am and I'm going to show the world. And, one thing I've always believed in for a long time, you touched on earlier, was you can't please everybody. You're never going to please anybody, personally, professionally. You're just not. There's 330 million people in this country.
Yeah.
You're not going to please everybody. So don't try. Please yourself, please your clients, please the people you're trying to get in front of. And you do that by just being yourself. And one thing I love about the kernel of truth we like to tell people that it helps you do is you're not out there selling yourself. You're just being yourself.
Yes.
Right? Because we've given you this clarity of your story, this truth of your story, that now you just go be you. And the people that are attracted to that, you'll get those folks. The people that aren't, they probably shouldn't be working with you anyway.
Absolutely. And shout out to Jeremy. Jeremy's on too.
What up, Jeremy?
So a question for you, Ryan. If somebody's listening, and I know we have people go back because it's going to live on LinkedIn and on the website. For those people who may be watching live or will watch the recording, if they're listening and they feel a little far removed from their core mission, how do they kind of get back on track? What's the first step or something they can do this week to kind of shift the direction?
Man, that's a great question because it happens all the time with people. you get lost in the running of the business, right? Like we all started these businesses or nonprofit because we had a passion for something or we liked doing something. And all of a sudden you're like, I'm doing payroll and I'm doing admin, I'm doing project management, I'm doing all the things that take me away from this.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I would say is come to us and do a kernel of truth with us. We can knock that out for you. But if you want to do something this week, that's a great question. I would say, first of all, just take a breath. Take a breath. Think about things. Maybe, this is a time of gratitude, right? We talked about gratitude last night at our marketing mixer. Yeah. What are some things you're grateful for? Maybe lean into that. What are some things you're doing that just feel forced and maybe you can just kind of let go? Maybe you're doing things that you think you need to do stuff. Let's simplify a little bit. One thing I think people fall into the trap of is I need to be everywhere because everybody says you should be everywhere. And I see everybody everywhere. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, all these things. Be where you need to be. Like for us personally, we're big fans of LinkedIn. We help companies grow their Instagram account through a software we use. Other than that, though, we don't do a lot of social. It's LinkedIn, and then let's lean into like some owned content.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling a little kind of lost or stuck, like just sit down and write something. Maybe you write a blog post. Maybe you call someone. Maybe talk to a friend that really knows you or trusts you. There's a lot of things you can do, but if you're not, before you come to us, and we would love to work with anyone who wants to do Kernel of Truth with us because it's incredibly powerful.
Absolutely.
But if you don't have that time or money right now, there are some things you can do. Listen, talk to someone, get them to listen to you. You listen to others people that you like, and maybe ask people like, hey, text me. It's like kind of a Brene Brown exercise. I think it's like, text me 3 words that you think of when you think of me. We used to do this thing called the Radical Report, which we still do. A Radical Report is, you and I talked about it initially. That's our thought leadership position workshop. That's more about you and your industry. It's a full day of thinking and writing. It's heavy, but it's awesome. But in that, we do a Brene Brown values exercise, and we ask the people that we're going to do the workshop with, we say, hey, before you come here in the week ahead of time, reach out to 10 people, 10 friends, family members, etc., and have them just give you 3 adjectives that they think describes you. And then we had people show up with those, and they were like, wow, that was a really like fun, cool, interesting, eye-opening exercise. It helped them see, because often what we think about ourselves is not what others are thinking about us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We kind of paint ourselves in a certain way, like, well, that must be what everybody thinks about.
Yes.
That's rarely the case.
Yes.
And so getting outside of that, which is what our Kernel of Truth does, you can kind of do that on your own by just, what do other people actually think about me when they think about me? Because that's the other thing. Most people aren't thinking about you all the time like we all think they are.
Exactly. I have my own problems.
Yeah. Everyone's got problems.
Yeah.
I've been in a big season of life the last 3 years, going through a lot of personal and professional growth that you and I have shared a lot of stories about. And I had to learn a lot of things like that. It's like, just focus on yourself. People aren't thinking about you the way that you think they are. So don't stress about it.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. And if that means someone doesn't like something you post, like, who cares? As long as you're not being mean or denigrating anybody or being nasty or whatever, just do you, man. You're not going to please everybody. You're just not. And if you come at it from that mindset of I'm building a community around what I'm doing, that also kind of helps soften some of that stuff because you see the bigger picture. And so my Kernel of Truth is all about seeking real human connection. I'm a connector of things, people, ideas, and systems, whatever. And I'm a community builder.
Yeah.
And in my world, what that means is everything you're doing is about community, whether you're building an email newsletter list, whether you're building an Instagram or LinkedIn following, whether you're building physical audiences like we're doing with Connect ATL or with our marketing mixers, whether you're having a one-on-one meeting with someone that you're bringing into your community. That mindset right there lets you know, A, I'm supported. I've got people that like me and trust me. I can lean on for questions or hey, I have this idea kind of thing. And you surround yourself with so many good people that on those days where you feel extra stuck. And so this week you're like, okay, what can I do this week? Reach out to your community.
Yes.
Ask a few people to give you some feedback about something. If you've been sitting on a LinkedIn post or a blog post, or maybe you're stuck on a proposal or a business problem, you're not alone. And that's one thing that we all need to remember is we're not doing any of this alone.
Yeah.
And if some people like living that solo world, and that's great. Like, I'm not one of those people. I need my team and I need my community.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that community gives you that support to be like, hey, I'm just stuck on this thing. What insights do you have? And the minute you start being vulnerable and sharing with people, that will typically get reciprocated.
Yes.
And that's one big thing I've learned, man. As soon as you open that vulnerability door, people are typically right there with you and they'll walk right on through with it, because you've kind of given them permission now to, oh, okay, well, now I can kind of share some things too. And all of a sudden the conversation changes.
Yes. And I was getting ready to ask you about community, and it's like you read my mind. I was going to ask you, what does community mean to you? And I was like, oh, wow. It's like he read my mind. So I have to find something else. But one thing I want to ask you, because it was all about community. Okay, so you just said something about, and everything, yes, about being vulnerable, letting people in. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. How can someone begin to, because it's a muscle.
Yeah.
What's the first step? Because if like my whole, it was a retooling of my mind.
Yeah.
Unlearning a lot of things and relearning, especially when you come from, it's a lot of insecurities that people face when they're trying to step out. I'm dealing with, and it's not me. I just know how it is. If I have a corporate job, or if I want to step into a new season that I'm unfamiliar, I don't have the community for one. I have all of these these thoughts of self-doubt in my head.
Yeah.
I'm worried about, if I post this pictures, Gwendolyn and Mary and Tom going to talk about me, or am I going to seem like I'm doing too much?
Yeah.
So that's the part in, I guess the answer is to contact you immediately, but the first step is getting out of your head to not feel so overwhelmed and so afraid to be vulnerable.
Yeah. And that part of that does come back to community and having people around you that allow you to be in that space, that create that space for you. Part of it is taking a chance. Part of it, I keep telling you, I've probably told you a million times just how proud I am of you for stepping out and meet. Like when we met at that Impact Up event, you were just starting to kind of get out there. And like, I still don't believe you're an introvert, even though you always tell me that, because you and I just started talking for like 20 minutes.
But it was one-on-one though. I do well with one-on-one.
Exactly.
Like I was telling Angela last night, one-on-one is fine. When it's a huge crowd, it's like,
yeah,
okay, we're going to work. We're going to get mentally prepared for it.
Yeah. And what you just said though is a great tip for these folks that are a little more are like introverts, that they're doubtful of putting themselves out there. The thought of networking just either grosses them out or stresses them out, or both. And they're like, okay, well, I just won't go to this thing.
Yeah.
One thing I like to encourage people to do is remind them, like, yes, there are lots of gross networking events and things out there. Sure, we've all been to those. They're not very fun. But there is a community for you out there somewhere within your ecosphere of the work that you're doing. It just takes some time to find some. Again, talk to some friends, ask some colleagues, hey, what kind of events are you going to? I get messages in my inbox on LinkedIn and just regular email, like, hey, what's an event I could go to, blah, blah, blah. Start small. Maybe find one that's like 20, 30 people, like a little more, manageable.
Yeah.
And then just go. And the worst thing that's going to happen is you go, you maybe meet a few people. Maybe it's not what you thought it was going to be, but then it's done and you're back home and you can kind of, okay, that one wasn't so great. Let me find another one. But you will, I guarantee you will find some kind of community out there that will fit your vibe. It'll also accomplish some business goals for you of drumming up business and all that, because that is part of why we all do this. We're trying to build our networks with more of the right people to eventually, drive business down the road. And remember, and that, again, I have to reiterate, that is the long game, and consistently doing these things to get to that end goal of what you want to do. So, I've talked to a handful of introverts, couple, especially like tech folks, people in the tech world, like, networking sucks. It's so gross. It's so transactional. I don't want to be in a room at a conference with like 300 people exchanging business cards. I'm like, yeah, that sounds terrible. I don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
I think that's what everyone thinks you have to do, but especially in a city like Atlanta. But as we're learning all over the country, and even in Metro Atlanta itself, which is massive, there are groups from 10, 20 people to maybe 100. That would be a great place for you to start. If you're
Yes.
not sure, put a note out on LinkedIn. Hey, everybody, I'm trying to get out there and network more. Here's kind of the types of people I'm looking to meet. What would you recommend? And I guarantee you're going to get some good responses. And that could be a great way to start, because now you talk about another benefit of community. Now you're crowdsourcing information from your community.
Yes.
And another thing I've learned over the years is people typically want to help, but they have to know how to help.
Yes.
You have to ask for help. And that's another thing, personally and professionally, I've been working on the last year or two, is just ask for help. It feels so maybe weird at the time, or maybe you feel like less than, like, well, if I ask for help, people are going to think I'm weak, or I don't know what I'm doing. Get rid of all that out of here.
Or when people are so used to being the person that people go to for help,
yes,
it's really
exactly.
difficult to learn how to receive when you're the go-to.
Man, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got so excited. I ripped my
Your headphones agree with me too. You have your headphones.
I gesticulate too much, man. I'm tethered to this computer. But no, you're 100% right. If you're always the one people are going to, you might feel it just doesn't feel right. You know, you feel, again, like weak or less than, and it couldn't be farther from the truth, because everyone's got issues.
Yeah,
everyone's got problems. Everyone's got questions.
That's right.
And if you're a curious person, which is who I like to work with, I'm a naturally curious fella, just like you are.
Same.
If you're curious, ask questions.
Yep.
That's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of strength. That's a sign of, hey,
I want to grow. It's a sign of growth.
Exactly. 100%. 100%, you know, and community, man, community and connections, because you can lean on those people for all of this stuff. And I'll bring it back to the kernel of truth. Starting from that point where you know where you're coming from makes all of this even easier, because there's no doubting who you are.
I totally agree. And before I want to pass it to you to wrap it up, I like to read, I like to watch podcasts and all that good stuff. But I was watching, I don't remember where it was, but I was watching someone talking about leaders in it was like Steve Jobs and different people, and it was about signal and noise and cutting out the noise and really focusing on like the signal. And I'm a strong believer at just making sure you have empathetic systems, some type of systems, so that you can get more time. Like I always say all the time, we can work 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or 10 to 7, but that does not mean we have 8 hours of deep work. We only really have about 2 or 3. So a lot of that needs to be what I can do in delegating or automating the rest. And so I can focus on only thing I should do. But if you need help with that, of course, you know to contact me. But Ryan,
we've 100% agree with that.
Yeah, we've gone over a little time. I want you to use these.
Color me shocked.
You can use these last few minutes of just letting people know how they can get in contact with you, what you have going on, and just next steps. If anybody want to learn about the Kernel of Truth.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, and just thank you for having me here. First of all, I've been looking forward to this for so long, and we could talk for another hour easily. Right. I know. So there's we're going to drop a link into the chat where you can go directly to our Kernel of Truth page on our website to learn more. My email is, I should have given this to Julianne. Sorry, Julianne. It's just ryan@rootstock.agency. Send me a note. Kernel of Truth is $3,000. Comes with everything I talked about earlier. We can talk more about that stuff in a personal conversation. We would love to help anyone that just is feeling stuck and feeling like they need some clarity around the truth of their story. That is one thing we're exceptionally good at. I'm just gonna brag on my team because we're really good at it. And sometimes I'm bad about bragging on them because we're so good, and I don't want to appear cocky.
No, you're stuff. You're standing on.
We're good at that stuff. And then from there, we can do whatever you need to grow if that's in our wheelhouse. Whether you want to speak on stages, you want to, like, I had a lot of media background, pitching media from back in the day. So I love finding the gatekeepers at conferences, at podcasts. I love creating events and partnerships for events, just like we're doing, just like I've done with some other clients. I love that stuff because I believe in the power of in person. And to pull on that, when we talk about communities, I'm not just talking about in person. I'm talking about online. You got to build an online and offline communities. And I believe that's a big key to success these days. And if you think, this is a cool thing I'll note here is, we like to have stats that back up that what we do works. If you've not ever heard of the Thought Leadership Impact Report that's put out every year from Edelman and LinkedIn, highly recommend folks check that out. I don't have the link to drop here, but it's called the Edelman and LinkedIn Thought Leadership, B2B Thought Leadership Impact Report. And every year they have this great data from interviewing all these thousands of managers and leaders. And this year is focusing on hidden buyers, like not the buyers or decision makers you're targeting, the folks that are behind them, behind the scenes that influence those decisions, but don't take the meetings and all that stuff. The hidden buyers and the buyers, this data this year proves again, they're all reading thought leadership content. Sometimes people are like, why are we creating this? No one's going to read it. They are. If you create it and put it in the right spots in front of the right people, and that's something that Darren and your team are exceptionally good at too, is whether it's a newsletter, whether it's paid ads, social media, whatever, part of that system, people are reading the stuff. And what we find is the stronger your thought leadership content that shows off your approach, your way of thinking, your philosophy, that's what people want to see. They want to see less of your marketing sheets, your sales sheets, like, hey, our product does this and that. That's fine. They want to know about you and your team and your leadership and why the way that you think is going to help them solve these problems they can't figure out, or maybe even help them understand a problem they didn't even know they had. Yeah. But we can help you solve that. And so that the data proves it will lead folks to reconsider their current vendor relationships based on pieces of thought leadership they're reading or watching or consuming or whatever. So it is getting read by the people, but you got to do it consistently. We would love to. We work with founders, consultants, mission-driven organizations, purpose-driven organizations, corporate leaders, leadership teams. We have a pretty broad range of folks we can help with, but it's really just helping good folks do good stuff. Mm-hmm. We really love it. We excel at it. We would love to help anybody that's just feeling a little stuck, man. Like I don't know. We love what we do, and I love what I do, and I'd love to talk to whoever's listening that wants to come hang out. And last two things I'll say, we Rootstock host a quarterly marketing mixer, which Darren, you've been a huge supporter of. We just had one, our last one of the year last night. So if you want to get added to our invite list for the next one, which will probably be in February, shoot me an email. We'll add you to the list. It's a great group of all kinds of marketers. We have amazing, smart, creative folks in this city doing all kinds of work in the marketing ecosystem. And it's very loose marketing ecosystem we define as. Again, we just want good people showing up doing good things. So we do that. Last thing I'll say is another event you want to talk about, a easy way to break into some networking. Come check out the Good Energy Coffee Crew. Mm-hmm. So Darren and I go to a monthly coffee meetup started by a good friend of ours, Paul Carpenter, who's currently the president of AMA Atlanta and one of the sweetest, smartest dudes you'll ever meet.
Absolutely.
He started a group called Good Energy Coffee Crew a couple of years ago with the exact same purpose we started our marketing mix, to get good people together, to connect authentically, genuine conversations, support. How can I help you? Who can I introduce you to? Not just connect on LinkedIn and forget about it. Like connect on LinkedIn, then go grab coffee.
Absolutely.
In like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
So Good Energy Coffee Crew, it's monthly. We have a page on LinkedIn. You can check us out there. That's an easy kind of entryway for a newbie, not a newbie, it's the wrong word, for someone that's maybe a little unsure about networking, like we talked about.
And it's a smaller crowd. It's not 100 people. Everybody knows professional.
15, 20, 30 people.
Yeah.
And you will leave there feeling, I say every time, it fills up my cup.
Absolutely.
I've gone into those meetings or those sessions, maybe having a down day, it's been a tough week or something, and I need that. And then I go and I leave there and I'm just my mindset is,
it's like friends becoming family. It's like friends becoming family. Yeah.
It is. Because, the last thing I'll say is there's so much business out there. There's enough business for everybody. We don't need to always be competing. I believe we're stronger together.
Same.
I believe we're all out here to support each other and uplift each other. And that's another big benefit you get from building the right communities around you. Yes, you'll drive business from it too, but you'll meet some of the most amazing people that will become your champions, your advocates. Like quickly about nonprofits, you're not just talking to donors, you're building a community of folks that you want them to donate money to a nonprofit. You want them to donate regularly on a recurring basis, and you want them to champion that to other people on your behalf to get them into the community. So there's so many ripples that having the right community just sends out there. It becomes so powerful. And I'll hush now, because if you let me keep going, I'll keep going.
No. And I was going to say, and the benefit of having a community and the benefit of doing your kernel of truth is, like me, I feel so aligned that it does not feel like work.
No.
I can do this until I'm a 90-year-old man. I have people rolling me like, let's get this man out of here.
Just Darren, come on.
What I
we got a bowl of gumbo waiting for you over here. Just a flush and come on in.
Yeah. No, I
you know.
That's the power of having community, people who speak the same language, people who celebrate you, just your people. So, like you said, online and in person, the networking events. It's you. Entrepreneurship or building anything meaningful, period, can be very lonely, can be isolating. And when you have community, it's like a warm blanket that's saying, let's get all this together. So it's
100%, dude. And one thing we like to say is, great ideas, they don't thrive in isolation.
Oh, I love that.
Your work doesn't thrive in isolation. Like, you want people around you that can help you make those ideas thrive and challenge you on some ideas, or maybe offer you a different perspective that maybe you weren't thinking about. There's just so many benefits to it that it's worth every second you spend building that community to support your business, because it will if you're in it for the long term, which I'm assuming y'all are. I don't really see a lot of other ways. And again, then if you've got budget to add in paid media, add in some extra spokes of the wheel or whatever, great, like awesome. But this foundational stuff is where I believe a lot of your success will come from, and then you add on things as bandwidth or budget allow.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ryan, for your time. Any last remarks before we wrap up?
There was something I wanted to say, and now I don't remember what it was, because we just keep talking about.
Lord, was it about community, Kernel of Truth, or any events?
It was about all of it, probably, but I'm just going to bloviate on about stuff because that's what I like to do. But
if you DM, we'll find out. Yeah. But if you need to get in contact, you can DM me, DM Ryan. We're easy.
Yeah, please connect with me on LinkedIn, Darren as well, Rootstock and My Mogul Media. We've got a lot of, just from Darren, we've got a lot of great things coming your way. More Connect ATL events next year. We're launching Connect Dallas in March, which I'm honored to be part of that journey. And we've got some really good things cooking. So if anyone in Dallas is watching, we'll see you in March. And just reach out. Like, we're here to help. We truly love helping people in the way that we can, which we talked about. And we would be honored to anyone we do their Kernel of Truth with. We're extremely honored for. It's a very intimate, vulnerable setting, and for people to allow us into that part of their life, we don't take for granted. And we understand the power that comes from that person leaning into that and us helping them lean into that. It just makes me happy to do the work that we do. And I'm so appreciative for you having me here and letting me share some of this with everyone that's listening.
Thank you for being here. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. We will see you again soon.
Thanks, y'all.